Let's do it. Our next guest, ready to go, Steven Kwan, Mr. Do It All for the Cleveland Guardians, joining us right now. Steven, great to have you on, man, for the first time on FT Live. How you doing today?
I'm good. I appreciate y'all having me. It's a cool opportunity.
Absolutely. Great to have you on. Give us a little glimpse of how the year's going for you and also where you're at right now.
Yeah, year two, I would say is definitely a little different than year one. I feel like year one, obviously, you're super wide-eyed about everything. You get to have the new MLB spreads and everything. All these fields are really cool, and then kind of second time through, kind of seeing it for a second time. You're trying to get your footing under you, and it just has a little bit different feel. So trying to work through those different dynamics, but obviously blessing, having a lot of fun, and just trying to win some ball games.
Yeah, I know for me in year two, I struggle a little bit. It was one of those things. They always say that sophomore year, it's like, all right, man, you kind of come back to life a little bit. I had a good first year and then the second year. So is there any different mindset you got going on right now? I'm not saying you're struggling, but, year two, it's a little different to get back on that saddle and understand, like, listen, they got the book on you now, so the adjustments need to be made. Is there anything you're doing right now?
Yeah, I think so. I think the biggest thing from our hitting coach, Chris Valeka, he kind of talked to me at the beginning of the year, and he said, "Yeah, there's obviously the sophomore slump that everybody talks about, but they think the cause of that is you're comparing yourself to your first year. So you hit a pitch that you feel like you hit last year, and now you're thinking, oh, like I did X, Y, and Z last year, so I got to get back to that." And he was kind of telling me like, last year happened, last year was great, but you got to forget about that. You gotta have what you have this year. You don't have to match any expectations you had last year. Just kind of keep looking forward, keep working with what you have, and do what you can. But I definitely feel that kind of thing where, I feel like I was in a certain spot last year doing what I did, and then now this year it's a little different, and it's hard to separate yourself from that. But it's a day by day thing that I'm working on.
Yeah, Steven, let me give you a little bit of advice. Baseball's hard, man. So sometimes you're gonna hit it, sometimes you're not. But I enjoy watching you play. It's a thrill, man. I'm a big fan. Little advice too. Vic worked with Vic for a long time. He throws a money BP. Get you some of those Puerto Rican. Get you some of those Puerto Rican meatballs. Get you some of those Puerto Rican meatballs, dude. He'll get you back on track. I want to talk a little bit about the team. Obviously, the AL Central is up for grabs. Do you like the team you have? Who are some of the leaders in that clubhouse? And one of my favorite things about going to Cleveland on the roadside was the Mario Kart video game thing inside the clubhouse. I'm wondering, do you guys have that on the home side? Are you guys racing? Are you guys slipping on banana peels? What's going on?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I definitely like the team that we have. I think it's pretty much the same as last year. We got a bunch of the young guys that I got to come up through, played in the minors with a lot of them. It just feels like a really comfortable clubhouse, I think. You don't have to walk on eggshells around like all these really high-touted vets, and we definitely have those vets, but I think they do a really good job of, letting us play. Doesn't have these like weird rules in the locker room that don't make much sense. It's a good time, but in terms of the Mario Kart, we definitely do have it, but Jose has a lot of practice on that, so he kind of dogs everybody. It's not very fun playing against him. He'll kind of let you think that you got a chance, and then he's stocking up items. He's got the lightning in the back, so when you come around a corner too long, he hits it and you fall off and you're in last place. It's infuriating for sure. And he even, just to rub it in, when the race starts, he doesn't even start. He wants to get in eighth place so he gets the best item. So I mean, the guy has it down to a science. It's fun playing against him, but you play for fun. You don't play to win against him.
Yeah, I've heard about the legend of Jose Ramirez, and I'm a huge Mario Kart guy. Like late night, weekend, unwind, just rip it. And I'm good, but I couldn't touch Jose, I'm sure. Has anyone ever beat him? And that was going to be one of my other questions is, I'm like, wait, if the dude's winning races, how is he picking up lightning bolts? You don't get that when you got to be like fifth or behind.
Yeah, strategy.
Exactly. Yeah, no, well, so they do the little Grand Prix, so they have the 4 races. So someone might get ahead of him on 1, but you're not going to beat him in 4. And yeah, like I said, he loves being in like last place. He gets the items. Like if he gets a turbo, he'll just use it immediately. But if he gets his lightning, he'll hold on to it for a strategic item or a strategic time. I think it's like Yoshi Beach. You got to get the boost to get through the cavern, and then you shortcut everybody. He never misses it. Like it's like a fastball. He never misses a fastball. He never misses the tunnel. So I mean, he is. It's tough to get one by him. You know, sometimes you got to mess with his analog stick to get him. But I mean, the guy is rock solid in and out.
Yeah, you gotta hit those lightning bolts when the guys are on the turns, so it spins them out of play, and then they do come back in.
Exactly.
I'm a huge Mario Kart. Whenever I was in Cleveland, I had one of the clubbies go find me a Nintendo 64 and controllers and Mario Kart, and he got it, and I took it with me on all the road trips. Me and Chris Young used to play. He'd be like, "Hey, we'd get to the hotel. He'd be like, "Hey, bring it up to my room," and we'd plug it in and we'd play. And it was one of those
Just
things
grind
where
it out.
that's what we did, man. That's what we did. We didn't go out and drink. We didn't go out to the bars and drink. You know, we went up to CY's room and played Mario Kart. So
That's how you have a long career right there.
That's true. That's true. Hey, Steven, I have a few fan questions and things we were going to ask you anyway, so might as well mix them in here. Shacharg said, ask Kwan about being college teammates with Adley. So, I mean, you had a dominant ball club in college over at Oregon State. Nick Madrigal was on that team. I'm probably missing a name or two just because it feels like it's been several years already. But what was that like? And also, what's the communication like with you and Adley? Are you texting him like, hey, dude, you look pretty good out there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we just played them in Baltimore, so I got to see him a little bit. I try to, I shoot him a text here and there, but I don't ever want to overload him, especially kind of knowing the guy he is. I know a lot of people are kind of reaching out to him, and him being the nice guy, he always wants to get to them and make them feel special, reply to them. But I kind of want to give him his space. We talk more in the off season. I'm up in Oregon sometimes, and we'll meet up for that. But yeah, playing with him was awesome. Obviously, he was a year younger than I was, so. My sophomore year is when we played, but we played summer ball before that. I mean, it was an awesome dynamic. He didn't really grow into the leader he is until kind of later. Like you said, Nick Madrigal was kind of our captain, but yeah, we had an awesome team. Nick Madrigal, Trevor Larnick, Rasmussen, Caden Grenier. I mean, we had some dogs over there. It was awesome. It was nice to kind of being a little fish in a big pond. You know, I kind of had to live up to those guys and work to get to their level. So I think that made me a better ball player for sure. But I mean, watching Adley do what he did on a daily basis was unbelievable. And then on top of that, like an amazing human being, he deserves everything he gets for him. So it was a blast playing with all those guys.
We had Andres Jimenez on the show on Tuesday, and he was talking about how everybody had to sing in the bus, some fun stuff as a rookie. Did you have to sing? And if you did, what did you sing?
Yeah, no, I sang multiple times. I did a lot of rapping. I did some like local Bay Area stuff. I did some Mike Sherm, some E40, some all that kind of stuff. But Austin Hedges was kind of the guy who organized all of that, and I was really the only rookie that stayed up through most of it. So I had to go up every time in front of the bus. So I ended up running out of material. So I remember one time. I winged it. I burped the alphabet. They didn't really like that one. I got that one. And the worst part was they didn't even cut me off to tell me it was bad. They let me get all the way to Z. They go, that was terrible and disgusting. Go to the bathroom. I said, okay, yeah. That's fair. We're in Toronto. We did a little trivia. Just answered some trivia about our vets. Got those wrong, of course. Yeah, did my fair share. It wasn't as bad as kind of the older guys. I heard stories from like Miles Straw and all of them before, but yeah, I got my fair share for sure.
How long were you in the bathroom for?
However long the trip took. I swear I got forgotten back in there, and I guess nobody had to go to the bathroom, so I just was forgotten. And then once I felt the bus stop rolling, I opened the door and nobody's there. I said, "Okay, I guess I can come out now." So the long ones were tough.
That's not fair. They just forgot about you. I mean, it's a regular contributor to the lineup. Like, you're needed here. Did you say, "Hey guys, hello"?
Yeah, I think it was a calculated forget.
Yes,
I think
silent treatment.
They told them I think they told them not to come get me and to figure it out that way. A little tough love, but it was all part of it.
No, I like it. Another fan question for you from NYY Recaps. I'd like to know from Kwan, how his base running strategy has been adjusted this year. Seems there's an extra mini game in trying to get the pitcher to throw over twice. Have you played that game?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think we were kind of tinkering with it a little bit in spring training, but yeah, there's definitely some gamesmanship. Especially, you have to know how athletic the pitcher is. If he's even willing to throw over. Like some guys, they just accept that, there's a good chance that you're going to steal. So they'll just slide step and let the catcher do their work. Other ones, they have a quick move. So they'll kind of bait you into getting a big lead. And then maybe on like, if the at bat goes to 5 or 6 pitches, then they'll start picking off. There was one with Dylan Cease that I remember this year where, if you get to 2 pickoffs, obviously you need to get them on the third one. And usually it's understood that if you get 2 pickoffs, you just let them steal. But he took a gamble on the third one and did a pickoff, and he actually got me. But luckily, the batter called time right before it, so I got off scot-free. But that was one of those like game within the games where I was like, oh shoot, like he actually kind of got me on that one. I wasn't expecting him to pick with my extended lead. So it's kind of understanding the pitcher. Sandy at first base does a really good job of kind of managing that whole game. But yeah, the base running game has definitely changed with the new rules.
The other game within the game for you, and I want to hear these guys piggyback off what I'm saying, is how you handle first pitches. I read an awesome article. I think it was Zach Mazel in The Athletic. That's usually who I'm reading when it comes to Cleveland. You're shaking your head yes. So I mean, you don't swing at them often, right? And you documented that and kind of talked about what you're looking for specifically. Otherwise, you're good, and we've seen you. I mean, deep in counts, you're even better. So the quote that I loved from it too was, "I'm trying to build a story for myself and then catch them sleeping." So can you just explain how that mentality works for you at the plate with first pitches for these guys? And then I want to see what they think about it.
Yeah, I think it's multiple dynamics with that. Obviously, as like a leadoff hitter, I do want to get to see a couple pitches, so the guys behind me can ambush or do some damage, like Josh, Jose, Ahmed. Um, but knowing kind of the player I am, like if I ambush a first pitch, I'm not a huge power guy, so very rarely am I going to hit a home run on that, a double, triple. As maybe I'll get a good single, sneak it through the hole, but I have confidence I can do that later in the at bat as well. And yeah, I think I do better with kind of later in the counts. I can kind of get the timing of the pitcher better, kind of understand the feel for what's going on. Multiple facets with that. And like you said, I trust myself with 2 strikes to at least put the ball in play or give myself a chance to hit. So I think all of those things kind of play into it. And then I know last year, I think I had 5, 6 home runs. I think half of them were on first pitches at the later half of the year. So kind of building that book about me. And then picking my spots for, I think this guy's going to throw a fastball in this count. Let me ambush it and let me see it. But kind of putting that all into effect, I think that helps with building my story.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of the exact same way as you. I wasn't a guy who was going to hit the ball out of the ballpark too often. So I'm like, what? I'm going to let Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, JD Martinez, Mookie, I'm going to let those guys swing at the first pitch if they want, and I'm going to be the guy to kind of see some pitches, maybe get the pitch count up a little bit, trust myself later on in the count. But I love what you're doing. You take some pitches, and I remember David Price used to tell me this all the time, like, hey, start swinging, dude. Like, all they do is throw you fastballs down the middle because they know you're not going to swing, right? So you're kind of putting it in the back of their mind that you're taking or you're watching, and then you let it eat one time and put a couple, 2-run home run on the board or drive one in the gap and knock in a few runs. So kudos to you on knowing what you want to do and how you want to do it.
Appreciate that.
Hey, Steven, I got another one for you. So we talked about this a lot yesterday with Evan Phillips of the Dodgers, and he's a super nice guy. And we were talking about Pete Alonso 2 days ago. He's in the dugout, and I know you've been mic'd up. You've had some good mic'd up times before during games. Pete Alonso's in the dugout. They got him mic'd up, and he's like, throw that pitch again out to Bryce Elder. And then later on, the Braves get to the Mets, and Tyler Matzik and some of the boys are in the dugout like, throw the pitch again. So what's your take on trash talk? Like, I called it good, clean fun, basically, on that regard. It's not leading to anything, and I think we need more of that in the game.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think a lot of times it's dissuaded just because that's what we were taught growing up. It's like, baseball's a gentleman's game. You don't do that. But then, you dig into it and it's like, why don't you do it? And there's no good reason for that. I think you see like NFL, NBA, like, there's trash talking, Pat Beverly, love him or hate him. People are talking about him and people watch those games because of that. NFL, like, the corners are talking smack to the wide receivers. Like that's fun to watch, and it gets both sides going, and then the emotions are big when one side succeeds and one doesn't. I mean, I think that's just good for the sport in general, and there's no ill feelings, I don't think, at the end of all of it. It's part of the game. If you can get into the other person's head, that's just another aspect of gamesmanship that I think players have to get over. So yeah, I agree. I think the trash talking is good. I think it's fun for the game, and yeah, I think it should be more of it.
for me, like my biggest trash talk was when somebody would say something to me. I've said this on the show before, but you tell me if this is good, just a thumbs up or thumbs down. They say something to me, I'm like, yo, really? Your mother's a bad cook. Now what?
I like that one. I mean,
you know, I'm not
that
I'm
digs
not
deep.
going too deep, but I'm you
Yeah.
know, I'm dinging them a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, because then they're looking back, they're thinking back and like, damn, was my mom a bad cook? And now you got them thinking, and
Now
they're all
you're in
dumbed
the
up.
head.
Yeah,
Is that just my mom,
I'm
or is she
tricking
actually a
them.
bad
I'm
cook?
not going to be like, you mother this, you piece of
Yeah.
shit, all that crap. Come see me later in the parking lot. No, your mother's a
Yeah.
bad cook. Now what?
Yeah, no, I think that would dumb them up even more. I feel like people have always heard the obscenities, but when you come at them with that, they're like, oh God, like,
Oh, damn, he went there.
do people think
something they're not expecting.
Exactly. Yeah.
You could take that if you want. Go ahead.
Hey, what do you use then? What do you have any like go-to lines or any recent situations this year where you guys were having fun in the dugout, whether it's with each other, with a team, like conversations that we might not have heard?
I think Josh Naylor is usually a pretty good person for that. He's kind of the more vocal trash talker. And I won't even say trash talker because he kind of keeps it to himself. I know last year he kind of had his shenanigans, but this year it's more so he just gets everybody fired up. He'll kind of do his thing, be really vocal. But as for me, I will say I'm more of a quiet guy. Like I think the biggest dig is if you do something great and you act like you've done it before, because then the pitcher's like, dang, like he expected to do that. Like I'm really not anything for that. I think the quiet confidence dig is a big one. But I know Tristan's a big into that. Like pitchers, they'll stare down the guy, and I think that's fair game as well. You know, if a hitter's going to pimp a home run, then if you strike out, do what you got to do on the mound. You won. If you do that, you better make sure it doesn't happen twice. You know, you're not going to get me on that twice. So for me, not too much, but we got a little bit in the dugout.
Yeah, that actually reminds me. So is Naylor different this year? Like, did he take it down one notch? Because I loved it. Not even just that. Yeah, rocking the baby in the playoffs.
The baby one.
But I remember I did multiple Cleveland games last year, and I'd be in Tito's office, and he's like, we talk, and he'd get fired up, and then he'd come in the office, be like, "Sorry, Skip, I got too excited. I won't do that again. I'm good. And then like a week later, he's like, "Dude, I just can't help myself. Like I'm too excited. This shit's awesome." So is he different this year? Is he not doing that as much?
Maybe here or there. I think it's tough to say. It's a small sample size of the year, so it's kind of tough to know where he's at. But I mean, he's definitely had his spurts. Like I think the funny ones are the ones that show up in my mind is he'll hit like a ground ball to second base and he'll get out, and then he'll just go up to all of us and be like, "My bad, guys, my bad. Like I got hit that for a home run." And we're like, "Dude, you're fine." He's like, "No, that's my bad. Like that's selfish on me. Like I got to hit that pitch better." I'm like, "All right, man. Like I mean, hit it hard at second base. It's all you could do." But as opposed, or compared to what he did before, maybe a little bit. But there's a lot of season to be had, a lot of close games to be had. So I guess only time will tell.
That's like someone bumps into you and then you're like, "Oh, sorry." And it's like, "Wait, no, actually you bumped into me." Like you guys, Todd or Brock, you guys ever have someone on the team be like, "Yo, my bad. I smoked the ball to second. I should have gotten a little more lift on it."
There's a
I didn't smoke too many balls. So it was mostly that's my fault. My fault, guys. I shouldn't be in the lineup.
Get out of here, all-star. All right, so one more to finish, and it's probably just a one-word answer. So Travis in our one of our fans in the chat said, "What character does Naylor pick for Mario Kart? Please tell me it's Wario." And who else like is getting picked? Like who do you pick? Who does Jose Ramirez pick? That's what the guys want to know.
Jose picks Bowser, I believe, because he got the bigger weight and the top speed. So when he bumps into people, they're flying farther. So everything with him is calculated. If I play, which I don't play very much because I've been humbled too many times, I'll play as Toad because my thought is, you want to have the good acceleration, the good handling, get between those curves. But I mean, when you're having the Nintendo 64 analog, you're not even going to be that crispy to start with. So Josh is actually a card player. He's a card shark. He has good strategy, but his big thing is he counts cards great. Like he'll know exactly what cards are still out there. So he plays what he's good at, which I can understand.
Oh shit. I'm flying right after this to play in a poker tournament with Jason Kipnis in Vegas. So I might actually have Kip hit up Naylor then, and we'll get some tips because I'm gonna need some help. I have no idea. I mean, you can't count cards the same way.
Yeah, that's what did you. I said, did you just admit that you're going to be counting cards in the poker tournament?
I don't think you can count cards for poker.
I don't know how to do any of that. So
yeah, but hey, if I knew how to do it, I'd be all about it. So kick me out, make my millions and kick me out. I'll take it. So Steven, great to talk to you, man. Great to have you on. We appreciate the time. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me. Y'all have a good one, and yeah, definitely talk soon.